This is Carson Ellers from the Boston Celtics, and you're listening to the Boiler Breakdown podcast hosted by Tanner Lee, Evan Webb, and Andrew Eiler.
Welcome back to another edition of the Boiler Breakdown podcast. A little technical difficulties there. I got a message that my browser couldn't play the video clip. Okay, I guess we're not getting the Carson Edwards video introduction.
Works for
me. It works. I don't know what you're talking about, Ken.
I didn't on my end, so that's why I couldn't see it. So I apologize for the weird intro, but it is falling apart here like the Purdue football stuff has been lately. Tanner Lee here with Evan Webb and Andrew Eiler, and this is going to be an entertaining podcast, I can tell already. Yeah, that's a great intro for what was just a horrific football game over the weekend.
Yeah.
Another loss, 4 straight. This one to the
to
the reeling Nebraska Cornhuskers.
I don't know, losing to Scott Frost or losing to PJ Fleck, which is worse? Probably PJ, but I still can't stand
they
Scott
play
Frost.
Each other this week. Ugh.
Yeah. I don't know. That's a good question. I feel like right now, I feel like it's Scott Frost just because they're the worst team. At least, like,
I don't know. I don't think so. I think Purdue's the worst team.
No, I meant of Minnesota, Nebraska. Yes, yeah.
I will say though, Minnesota's lost a lot of guys in the last 2 weeks since the last time they played, including Rashad Bateman. So
right.
I don't know, but either one's bad to lose. And technically, we didn't lose to Minnesota.
True. That's fair.
But we did Nebraska. But it doesn't help when you dig yourself into a 17-0 deficit right off the bat.
I thought I was having a bad Saturday morning. I texted you guys. We were walking out the door, and I realized I locked myself out of the house at like 11:55, and I was like, "Sweet." So by the time I figured out like the locksmith, it was like 12:20. I sat down on the front porch and turned it on. I was like, it's 14-0. There's like 6 minutes into the game. Like, what the hell happened?
Yeah.
And I saw they had like 14 yards. So 2 touchdowns on 14 yards. So I'm like, sweet.
Yeah, it was just special teams, man. You got a block punt that leads to a touchdown one play later, and then a big punt return with a penalty. Then you get a penalty on the extra point for too many people on the field, which I'm just flabbergasted how that happens. And then the defense actually holds them to a field goal on the worst field position that Nebraska had to start a drive. And Purdue couldn't get anything going on offense at start. Actually, when they did, it would get called back for a holding penalty or something. Just penalty after penalty to start the game. And then, Purdue eventually got it cooking a little bit in the second half, but it was too late. They got within a touchdown, but defense couldn't get the ball back, which is different than the losses against Northwestern and Minnesota, which the defense got the ball back for the offense, but the offense. In one case they couldn't come through, the other case they came through, but stripes cost them the game. So,
but so Purdue spotted Nebraska 17 points. 7 minutes into the game?
Yeah,
17.
Good luck coming back with that.
No, and then they did. They played them even the second, third quarter, and then they technically won the 7-3. So
which is I guess
they did.
Staple of Nebraska. I think they're outscored. They're up there towards the top in the country of getting their point differential in the fourth quarter on the wrong side. So. But I was disappointed. Going into this game, I felt good because I'm like, okay, Adrian Martinez, Luke McCaffrey, they can run. Neither of them can pass very well. Well, they found success with the pass game, and they kind of abandoned the run. Adrian Martinez went 23 for 30 for 242 yards and 1 touchdown, no interceptions.
We haven't forced turnover since the Northwestern game.
Correct. We forced the turnover on downs.
Yeah.
We forced a turnover and downs in Minnesota, but I don't think that counts. So that's what the first 2 games we were forcing tons of turnovers. And we won those games against Iowa and Illinois. And Brahms stated today in his press conference he wants to see a more aggressive defense. But how many times have we heard this?
He said that for 3 years. He said that with Nicole. When Nicole was defensive coordinator, he'd been saying, we're going to be more aggressive.
Yeah, I don't understand. something's not clicking there. It's either the guys aren't buying into Diaco's scheme or they don't like him or something's going on.
I think there's definitely, you can say that just because of the weird offseason that we had, or that they had, I should say, as the actual players were just the fans, of not having a full, winter workouts going into spring ball. You don't have like the normal, time that you would have to implement a scheme and, whatever. I remember what the new rules were when they were able to see the team, like when it was, when at the time when it was, we weren't going to have a season, and it was more looking so having a season in 2021 in winter rather than the fall of 2020. I mean, you don't know how much the team was really able to, practice the new system, which was so new compared to what we had been running. So I think that definitely plays a part in it, but I wonder if there's just something going on. I think
there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes. I mean,
yeah,
8 opt-outs last week, including a transfer. Jared Sparks opt-out. I think we hit on that last week, but I don't think we mentioned last week that Mott Anderson transferred.
Mm-hmm. Or he's in the portal. He's in the portal.
Tariq Murphy Jr. opted out. DeJuan Hewitt opted out. DJ Johnson opted out.
Alfred Armour
opted out.
Three running backs, or Armour might be a fullback technically.
Yeah,
but
3 in the room. I mean, the third string guy on Saturday I had never heard of.
Jackson Anthrop might have been the next running back up.
Rondell Moore, which I could see a package on Saturday line him up in the backfield. I don't know.
I guess I kind of forgot about that. I think right before we came on, Tanner, and I was like, I want to see Purdue. Maybe Purdue's just going to try to hold on to the ball for 45 minutes of the game on Saturday and run the ball for 100 times.
At this point, I'm ready for anything. Just throw out whatever you got. Win at all costs on Saturday somehow. It's going to take a lot.
Keep the defense off the field as long as possible.
But looking at the numbers Saturday, this is one of those games where a quarterback, the stats look great, but I don't think his play actually equaled what the stats were.
Mm-hmm.
Plummer was 33 for 47 for 334 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 picks. Looks great on paper, don't get me wrong. Mm-hmm. And he had moments in the second half where he was playing well, but the one weakness of Jack I thought really came out was he holds the ball for a long time.
Yeah.
Not at all the time. I mean, this game he did. I felt like in games like the first game that he replaced O'Connell, I felt like he got rid of it pretty quick. And that was immediately, I was like, man, O'Connell.
Minnesota was awesome.
Yeah.
Last 2 weeks, he's held it a little longer. And the problem, not only does that generate sacks, with this young offensive line in particular, I'm noticing the longer he holds it, we're getting holding calls.
Yeah.
Because they're getting beat,
Mm-hmm. So, but the line had a tough day. The line just did not play well. And the run game was non-existent. Horvath 21 yards on 7 carries. Moore 7 yards on 1 carry. Doru 2 yards on 3 carries. Just wasn't there yet again.
But I mean, like you said, you're down 17-0 with
you couldn't.
7 minutes into the game. You got to start throwing. But yeah, I mean, they only outside of Jack's 5 carries, only had 12 handoffs.
Yeah, that's a good point. David Bell had monster game, 10 yards, 10 catches, 132 yards, and a touchdown. 89 of those were on one play where Nebraska safeties ran into each other trying to tip up a tackle. But that was huge at the time. I mean, it got Purdue right back in the game within a score. Rondell Moore, a ton of touches this game, 13 catches for 78 yards. For Horvath, 4 catches for 38 yards. Milton Wright, 3 catches for 24. Jackson Anthrop, 1 catch for 22. Payne Durham, 1 catch, 20 yards, and a touchdown. Yes, the Big Ten allowed a Payne Durham touchdown to stand. And King Doru, 1 catch for 20 yards and a touchdown.
That was a nice play.
It was.
I really like that play.
Yeah, that was perfectly executed.
Yeah.
That's what's frustrating. There's times this offense looks really good, and other times it's like, what are they doing?
It's odd.
No consistency.
Yeah.
But ugly one.
Just ugly. Like we're talking, the offense really hasn't been the problem, but it hasn't been like clicking. It definitely hasn't clicked on like all cylinders like it has in some of the prior Brom years.
Yeah, and I feel like part of the reason too is I feel like the offense is playing. I mean, I feel like the offense is playing a little tight because they know that if they make a mistake, if we turn it over or whatever it is, then that's 1 turnover for us is like 3 for another team. And I just feel like every time, like last game, Jack had 1 pick, which, that's going to happen. But it just felt like it was such a backbreaker and just felt like it was so insurmountable to come back. I don't know if maybe offense just feels they're playing too tight and they're afraid to make mistakes. And that's why, part of the play calling is just so vanilla, which has been a complaint of mine all year for Jeff Brom offense. I just don't know if that's part of the reason why, he's afraid that if we make a mistake, our defense can't get the stops needed. And that's why he's not taking chances like he should. And I have no idea. It's just really frustrating to watch.
Yeah. Got to wonder if you see Austin Burton a little bit this weekend, but we can get right into that. We got a special guest here that's going to be joining us from enemy territories. Big IU fan here. But right before that, I better get to a sponsor read. And that is that the Boiler Breakdown is brought to you by Mad Mushroom. Mad Mushroom serving Boilermakers since 1993. And they're located in the heart of West Lafayette, and they're known as the home of the original cheese sticks. Whenever I visit, I like to sit down and have an ice cold beer while trying out their latest pizza of the month, which this month, let me bring it up here. It's a new pizza. It's called the Fixins. The Fixins. I didn't say it right. The Fixins. And it is consisted of mashed potatoes, turkey, ham, corn, chives, and cheddar cheese. So pretty much a leftover holiday meal right into a pizza. So sounds pretty good. So if you're still hungry for some Thanksgiving food or Christmas is coming up, you got that holiday food, make sure to tell them that the Boiler Breakdown sent you. Or you can use the discount code BREAK5. That's in all caps, BREAK5 for $5 off any order over $20. Mad Mushroom, feed your head. All right. And here he is, the man of the hour.
Hey,
Cameron Screeden. Cam, you're lucky we like you to bring you on to talk about Indiana football on a Purdue podcast.
I feel special, man. I feel honored to be on.
Well, we were talking. You're one of the few Indiana fans we respect and that we like. So you are.
All right, that's good.
Hey, we're just being honest. But Cam, why don't you let the Boiler Breakdown audience introduce yourself a little bit? They're probably like, why are we bringing on this IU fan? So,
yeah,
Tanner,
well,
I can't see
I
Cameron,
think
Tanner. I can't see Cameron Tanner.
you still got, I can't see him either.
I can.
Well, you got the pizza still up on our screen, so.
What in the world is on my end?
There we go.
There we go.
Jeez.
There's
Okay.
the camera.
Technical difficulties on my end.
Hey guys.
Okay,
Yeah, so I hope I'm one of those fans because I like IU football and basketball. I think that's a rare
It is
thing in
definitely.
northern Indiana, at least a little bit. So you get the Notre Dame football, IU basketball people. So hopefully that's why I respect it a little more, I think. So,
Oh, absolutely. That's
Definitely.
100%
but yeah.
correct.
I've always been a
Yeah. You're pretty realistic too. You're also I do enjoy your takes on Archie Miller. I'll say that.
all right. Don't get me started.
Yeah, we're here to talk about Tom Allen. That's it.
Yeah. Cam always said don't want to talk about who your basketball is.
I know.
But Cam, I mean,
Big no.
as an IU football fan, a lifetime IU football fan, this season's got to, even though it's a weird season, unlike any season we've ever seen, unlike hopefully any season we ever see going forward, it's got to be kind of like a dream come true for you.
It has been unbelievable. Just from going from wanting to just literally beat top 25 team like one time in my life. It's just like, hey, let's beat Ohio State. Let's beat Michigan one time. Like it's gone to beating all those teams this year. I know Penn State's down, Michigan's down, but it's like IU hasn't beat Michigan in 24 years, hasn't beat Penn State in 10 years. The average score against Wisconsin the last 20 years is 51-17, something like that.
We can relate
Wisconsin
to that.
usually that's like the average. That's the average. And they 10 years ago, IU went into Wisconsin, and it was 83-20 was the final score.
I think we were talking about that.
And so they said, amazing. yeah, like it just so how insane it is just from the history of IU football to what it was to what we're getting this year. It's just been a lot of fun ride, and I'm just gonna hold on and enjoy it as long as I can. So
as I'm thinking about it, it seems like everything has been like kind of like a Cinderella season. I mean, it started with the Penn State game where they got that incredible play by Penix at the end, and I mean that Wisconsin game. But then you also have that last week when Penix goes out with that terrible injury. It's kind of, I don't know. It's a very weird year. I mean, it seems like everything's gone right, and then that injury happens.
Yeah, it sucks. I think another weird thing too, Andrew, is that IU defensively, just in the past, they've had some offenses that were pretty decent, like with Sudfeld, with Tevin Coleman. They had some guys that were some decent wide receivers like Simi Cobbs. They had some different guys that they could always kind of score a little bit, but defensively, it's just always been a nightmare. And then to this year, just having like one of the highest turnover margin defense and having a defense keep you in all of your games has just been kind of another flip too from an IU fan perspective. So the losing Penix sucks big time. You feel for the guy. He's been hurt 3 years. He's a really talented kid, and you just feel for him. But the thing about IU this year is that their defense is really their strength. And so losing Penix, while it hurts, I think kind of the national media thought, oh, like they're screwed. They lost their quarterback, like blah, blah, blah. But really the defense has kept us in games the whole year. So
what's the reason for the defensive turnaround?
Big time.
What's the reason for the defensive turnaround from years past? The new coordinator?
Yeah, well, I think so. Tom Allen, I think his guys are starting to turn into juniors and seniors, and I just think you're starting to see breakout guys this year, and I think it's a testament to Tom Allen and the player development that's going on at IU, especially on the defensive side. I mean, Kane Womack's in his second year as defensive coordinator, and last year you could tell it was getting there. Still just wasn't the same. And then this year you've had a lot of guys just take another step forward. For example, Micah McFadden, their middle linebacker, he's getting a lot of national praise. He just won Defensive Player of the Week for I think the NCAA this week. But I was talking to my brother about this last year against Ball State. He couldn't tackle he couldn't tackle Ball State guys. To this year, it's like he's making all these crazy plays. He's getting to the quarterback. He's top 10 in the Big Ten in tackles, to where he's getting all this national recognition. It's like you're starting to see these players take another step forward in their development. They're bigger, stronger, faster. And I think it's really, and it's not just him, it's other guys too that are showing up on the defensive side. And you can tell they're really building something, especially defensively at IU. So.
I guess I didn't know. You said this is the second year for the defensive coordinator. Has the rest of the staff, so Tom Allen's in his fourth year, correct? At IU?
Yeah.
Has the rest of the staff stayed pretty consistent for that 4 years, and is that why it's able to build that program? I mean, we were talking about this in our text between Tanner and Evan about how Purdue's on their eighth defensive coordinator.
13 years.
Yeah. And if you're just changing every other year, it just seems like it's incredibly hard to build a system or build a culture or develop guys because they're constantly changing, being told what every 2 years. So has Allen kept his staff, been able to keep his staff pretty consistent that whole 4 years?
For the most part, yeah. I think the 4-year guys that have been, so it's been a lot of promotion from within a little bit. So their current offensive coordinator, Nick Sheridan, he's in his first year, and he was the quarterbacks coach previously and just kind of got promoted to offensive coordinator. So, and then it's guys that have been kind of connected to Tom Allen. I've noticed, like whether it is pass coaching, he seems to bring in a lot of guys that he's previously worked with. So the one that I think what really changed for Tom Allen, the first 2 years, it was a lot of the same, just a lot of this 5-7 back-to-back years. And Mike DeBoard was the offensive coordinator, kind of an old school guy. He coached at Tennessee for a while. He was an offensive coordinator at Tennessee. And when Tom Allen let Mike DeBoard go and hired Kalen DeBoer, I know it's weird, DeBoard and DeBoer, it's weird, but when he hired Kalen DeBoer to be his offensive coordinator at Fresno State, that was really the missing piece. Tom Allen's always been a really defensive guy, and he's done a great job in different, like at South Florida, he was a defense coordinator, did a good job. At IU, when they brought him in, completely turned around the defense in his first year under Kevin Wilson. And so to me, it's like, it's always the defense is going to be there with Tom. To an extent, the defense is going to be there. For him, it's always been who's going to be that offensive coordinator that help him get the offensive side to the next level. And I mean, you guys know I loved Caleb DeBoer last year. I thought that's the reason why IU finally took that step forward from 7-4-8, 4-8, 5-7, whatever you want. I think they finally took that next step because they got the right offensive coordinator in and took that next step to an 8-5 record. And I think that has completely changed the perspective, like the direction of the program. And I know Tom Allen's put in an incredible culture, and as the guys seem incredibly bought in to that culture, and you can tell it's showing, I mean, on the field. But I think when Kalen DeBoer came in and elevated that offense to another level, I think everything Tom Allen was preaching and trying to get was like starting to come to fruition, and the guys could finally see it. Where for years and years and years at Indiana, it's always been, oh yeah, we're right there. We just, blah, blah, blah. And then the players don't really ever get to fully experience the winning or fully experience. And so I think last year was that huge step for the program. And now it starts to get the players' confidence up and start believing a little bit. And then this year, I think it's just continued to elevate this year.
What's the outlook for Indiana look like next year? How many players are seniors, I guess, do they have? I know the seniors can technically come back next year, but how many seniors are they going to quote unquote lose if none of them come back?
Mm-hmm. Well, defensively, there's not many seniors. Jerome Johnson is a big interior defensive lineman senior. And then he's pretty much the only one. They got another defensive lineman that's a senior. They got a defensive back that's a safety that plays mixed playing time as a safety, or as a senior, excuse me. So defensively, they really get a lot back, which is really exciting as an IU fan to return a lot of players on a really good defense. And then offensively, Watt Fillier and Ty Freifogel are both seniors. They're top two wide receivers, but I don't know about them coming back or I haven't heard much about what the scoop is with those guys, whether they're going to come back or not. Like you said, Tan, because everybody's this year back. So I don't know what their future plans are. Still there. It's a big mess. A lot of juniors on defense, a lot of sophomores on offense. So it's those Tom Allen guys that junior class is really that huge class that really does a lot of the playing time and contributions.
You got to think that coming off this year with the success they've had, I mean, they could lose out and still this has been a really successful year for them. Like you said, they've beat a ranked Penn State team, a ranked Michigan team, a ranked Wisconsin team. Played Ohio State real tough. Assuming 2021 is more of a normal football season, we get 12 games, we're able to have fans. Do you think the fans show up more than ever next year? So. Yeah. I mean, if they don't show
I'd
up,
like to think so.
When are they going to show up? Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I really like to think so. I saw a thing on social media somewhere just talked about like how everybody's struggling. I mean, different schools like financially and in different ways, and just said how much IU could elevate their program if we if the fans just went and bought tickets and supported. It's like you just keep continuing to take this program to another level, and I think it's on the cusp of taking that next step. So like I really I mean, I was kind of like last year, it's like, what more do you want? You know, you went 8-5, you got a coach that is doing good things. Like, what more would you want at IU for IU football? I mean, why would you not continue to support? Why would you not, you know? And now that with this year, just how well they've done, it's like, I hope these fans in the stands at IU. So
typically, at least among Purdue fans, IU fans get a bad rap because a lot of IU basketball fans like Notre Dame football. But maybe this year, with the success of the IU football program, maybe some of those Notre Dame football fans starting to like IU. But at the same time, Notre Dame's potentially going to be in the college football playoff. So I guess they got it made. Maybe it's root against Purdue, I guess.
yeah, kidding. So,
but
I don't know. I never understand the cross school thing, but you know,
we call them reversibles.
It is.
That's what we call them. But
yeah.
Going back to Tom Allen, what's his contract look like? Do you know?
I don't know full details. I know they gave him extension and a raise last year. It's a big thing because it's still not super like. I mean, I know he was like before that he got that. He was somewhere in the 60s financially. I want to say ranked on Division I coaches, and then I don't know where he's at now. But it was a huge thing last year. But they're talking about, hey, if we want to keep this guy here, we're going to have to continue to bump coordinator salaries. We're going to have to continue to bump his salary and really make it worth his while. So I know that's always going to be a discussion. To me, he seems, I mean, he's an Indiana guy. He has Indiana ties, and I really don't see him leaving. I see him getting a lot of looks and a lot of opportunities, and obviously money talks big time. But the only programs, I mean, I could be completely wrong, but the only programs I really would see him leaving would be like a Texas, like something like real big.
Yeah,
like an
Texas
LSU,
or Michigan or something
like that. Yeah, something like that, which I guess those two are a little scary, but I don't really see him leaving for like I don't know. I don't think you'd call it a sidestep from IU, but like a Mississippi State, for example, or something like that. I don't really see him doing that type of.
Yeah,
but you know what I'm saying? Like I don't see him leaving for that type of move, but. You know, I obviously could be wrong. I think that's what excites me. I think he could stay a while. I really do. Which is exciting for me.
Yeah, that's the thing. I was talking earlier tonight. The only Power 5 job open right now is Vanderbilt. He's not gonna go to Vanderbilt. That's a big step down. Mm-hmm. I mean, why would you want to go to a low-tier SEC school when you're already proven that you can compete with the other East schools within the Big Ten? So I agree with you. I think it would take a big name, but it is interesting because IU could find themselves in a position to where they have to really pony up in terms of football, supporting a football program where they never really have before, like on the level they might eventually have to.
Right, exactly. And there's already talk. I mean, they've started to invest a lot more than they have. I think Fred Glass really got that going before he stepped down. I mean, with the improvements in the stadium, improvements in different facilities, there's still a facility they practice at that they said is like 30 years old, and they said that really needs an upgrade. I think an indoor facility there. So that's kind of like the next step would be like a nice indoor practice facility. But like you said, Tan, if we want to continue to keep Tom Allen there, I believe those are things you're going to have happen. You're going to have to see the money increases, see it actually, like you said, see the investment there. So,
and that's what schools I feel like Purdue and Indiana have to do. I mean, before Jeff Brom got to Purdue, there was nothing going on really commitment wise. I mean, the bump to get Daryl Hazel from Danny Hope was significant, but then to get Jeff Brom was even more of a bump. And they luckily already had the new football facilities getting built. If those weren't getting built, I don't think Jeff Brom comes. But then, of course, Jeff Brom has success as far as Purdue is concerned. After the 4 years of dumpster fire of Hazel, they have success the first 2 years. Then they really had to pony up to keep them from going to his alma mater, Louisville. So now they're
right.
I mean, in my opinion, I think he's safe for at least 2 more years because of his contract. It is so hefty, the buyout and everything. But sometimes, you got to commit that to keep your guys around. So it's just something interesting that Purdue. It's a thing that Purdue and IU haven't really found themselves in too many times as far as football is concerned in the past, because IU is definitely more of a basketball school. Historically, Purdue's. I mean, they've had moments of football, but they're historically more of a basketball school as well. So it is interesting because I think IU is one of those jobs. It's always going to be looked at a basketball school like a Duke and a Kentucky, no matter what the success of football is. But that's just me. I don't know.
Right. Mm-hmm. No, you're spot on. You're spot on 100%. Yeah.
So going into this Old Oaken Bucket game on Saturday, it's an interesting one. As far as, I mean, Indiana's a 14-point favorite. And I would
actually, it's come down.
Has it come down?
It hasn't really.
Mine says 9.5 right now, and I am stunned.
Wow.
It was literally 14 this morning.
I'm on ESPN right now, and it says 9.5. IU, I would put all my money on IU.
I'd put the house on Indiana right now. Yeah, I bet 9.5. Holy crap!
If it really went down 5.5, that makes me think that IU have some players get COVID or something. I know. I don't want to. I mean, I hope that's not the case.
They're thinking IU's going to rest guys because they know Michigan's going to pull out of the Ohio State game. So then
that could be.
IU's going to be in the Big Ten championship, so they don't want to get anybody hurt. So they're going to play their second stringers and only win by 10 points instead of by 30 points.
If Tom Crean was still at Indiana, I could see that happening. Him making a deal with his brother-in-law, but it's not the case. So, but looking back. At the IU Purdue series, I mean, all time Purdue's got the lead 74-42-6, and a lead in Bloomington 35-19-2. But in the last decade, Indiana's got the 6-4 record.
Oh, because you got freaking Daryl Hazel in there.
Thank you, Daryl Hazel.
Yeah, Dandy Daryl.
Yes, he did count for a lot of those. Last year, though, saw Indiana win a thriller of a college football game, especially if you didn't care who won. It was a really good football game. It's 44-41 in double overtime.
Crappy game to be at weather-wise.
Horrible weather-wise, and besides that, it was fun until the end as a Purdue fan. But
also, kind of speaking of the weather, as IU been pretty fortunate. I feel like thinking about how delayed this season is, that the Old Oaken Bucket game is going to be like December 12th or something.
Yeah.
And it's going to be like 50. Like how incredibly
pretty amazing.
Yeah, you push the weather back. I thought it's going to be real crappy. Like you're going to get all these games after Thanksgiving and it's going to be miserably cold, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be like 50 on Saturday. Here in Indy, on Friday, it's 59 is the high on Friday. I have to play golf.
Has Indiana, has their team been affected big time by COVID cases, Cam? Because I feel like if so, I haven't really heard about it.
Not really, no. They said that they haven't really released, or 2 weeks ago against Maryland, they said they had some guys have it and they sat out. They wouldn't really release details on who had it. Like Samson James is their backup, or their kind of their second string running back. He hasn't played the last 2 weeks, and like nobody knows why. So people kind of assumed it was COVID. And then Cam Jones sat out the Maryland game, and then there was a couple of offensive linemen that sat out too. So they didn't release anything specific, but people were saying they thought it was because of COVID and things. I think they said they had 12 players missing. I want to say against Maryland, 11 or 12, I believe, but that's really the only that I've heard about. And all those guys were back for Wisconsin. So
see, that's the thing. Purdue for a while was doing pretty well, but then they lost George Karlaftis. Then he can't come back until next week if those games happen for the championship game. I'm pretty sure one of their starting safeties or linebacker, I guess, Jalen Graham. Pretty sure he has it because he went from starting to playing 0 snap counts on Saturday, and Brom just said illness, wouldn't really say. And then today, one of their other starting safeties, Marvin Grant, announced on his social media that he tested positive. So all of a sudden, Purdue's like just dropping like flies on.
Is it the? Yeah, it's 21 days, right? If it is COVID, you have to. You're out. Is it 21 days?
21 days, 3 weeks.
It's Big Ten.
If you're a player.
Okay. Yep. Coaches is 10.
Yeah.
Yep. But so it's been interesting to see how schools, some have got luckier than others, but I had some interesting notes here. The last 5 games Purdue's been on the road against a top 10 team, they've lost them all, but they've all been pretty close games. 2018, they lost at number 7, Wisconsin, 17-9. 2016, they lost at number 8, Nebraska, 27-14. That was a Gerald Parker head coach game after Darrell Hazel was fired. 2015, with Darrell Hazel, they lost at number 2, MSU, 27-24. What's crazy about those 2 games is MSU was ranked number 2 just 5 years ago, and Nebraska was ranked number 8 4 years ago. Look at those programs right now. And they lost. We've talked about this one a bunch on the podcast. 2012, they lost an overtime game at number 7, Ohio State, 29-22. And they lost an overtime game at Ohio State in 2003, 16-13.
So Purdue's due is what you're telling me, Tanner.
What I'm getting at. No. I just got notes and I wonder.
So you're telling me there's a chance.
So you're saying there's a chance. But before we get into picking some games, Cam, which you're welcome to stay and pick some games with us, what are the keys for Indiana? What do they have to do to retain the bucket on Saturday?
Just show up.
Come on, Evan.
Yeah.
God dang it.
Evan, Webby, I'm gonna have to disagree with you. Actually, I think from one, IU Purdue, it's always close. I mean, there's a couple of times I think Purdue, Dan, you'd have to correct me. Early 2000s or kind of later 2000s, early 2010s. I think Purdue had a couple big wins. I could be wrong. What was like the Kyle Orton? There was a Kyle Orton game, wasn't it? Like.
Yeah, there's a couple. Tiller's last game, you had 62-10, and then Orton had a game in there too. That was, I think, Orton's senior year. He
went nutty on senior day.
Yeah, but that's really it.
But really, Indiana's had some on the flip side of the Hazel era. I mean, Indiana beat Purdue 56-35 one year.
Mm-hmm.
So, but more times than not,
I honestly think it's going to be. Say that again. Sorry, I missed it.
I said more times than not, they're good games, though. You're right.
Yeah, and I don't see it being like. For one, I don't think IU's good enough offensively to blow Purdue out of the water.
You haven't seen Purdue defense
play. I don't see it being.
It's a good game.
I have actually. I have some stats. I have some stats here, and I did a little research. So. Like total offense, actually, Purdue has a better total offense than Indiana they average about 40 more yards a game. Obviously, Purdue's Achilles heel is their defense, but so it's going to be a battle of strengths versus weaknesses. So IU offensively, they're 95th in total offense of the qualifying FBS schools. They are 120th in rush yards a game. Both these rush offenses suck. I'm just going to say that. I know Purdue doesn't really run.
No.
Like it feels like both of them are man in the run.
Well, IU tried. IU tries to run, they just can't run. But the last couple of weeks have actually been a little bit better for Indiana run the ball. They actually, I think IU had 87 rush yards against Wisconsin, and that was like a positive, which is terribly sad, but that's just how poorly Adrian the ball this year.
Purdue had negative
2 against Nebraska.
I know, doesn't it happen twice this year?
Yeah.
No, we had 2 against Northwestern, and we had negative 3 against Nebraska. So there's 2 games where we combined 0 yards. Yeah.
But you got down 17. You couldn't run.
And the run before they even started.
Yeah.
So statistically, IU isn't incredible offensively. So I don't think they're going to, especially with Jack Tuttle, their backup quarterback, who managed the game really well against Wisconsin. I think he did what he needed to do. I don't see him going out and throwing 4 touchdowns or anything like that against Purdue. So the thing that IU I think has going for them is their turnover margin. They're first in Division I football in interceptions. They have 17 interceptions this year. The secondary has just taken what I would call probably their weakness of their defense last year was their secondary. Now it's probably one of the best secondaries in college football. Tywan Mullen and Jamar Johnson are, in my opinion, 2 of the best secondary guys in the Big Ten. I think, and it's going to be fun because when you got those 2 guys going against David Bell and Rondell Moore, I think it's going to be kind of a cool. There's going to be a lot of talent on the field at the same time. And to me, it's like IU's always taken not great statistically offensively, but with how they turn other teams over, they just set themselves up for success in those they're plus the turnover margin this year. And I just think that's the reason they had so much success. So if they can turn Purdue over, which I kind of think they will, but it's just, if they can't, because it does worry me. I don't think IU's seen, outside of Ohio State, IU hasn't seen a dynamic 2 wide receivers like this. And they're really going to have to step up. Those things they take it, like Wisconsin was kind of depleted at receiver. Michigan wasn't great at receiver when they played them. So you just kind of look at it. It's like I had the upper hand on talent-wise from who we played and beat. And then this weekend, I don't think you can say that with Rondell Moore and David Beller. Those 2 guys are 2 of the best receivers in the Big Ten. And I think the defense is really going to have to get those turnovers and bank on those turnovers. And so that's where I kind of see the game turning. If I can't turn Purdue over, I could see Purdue keeping it really close and even winning. But if I can turn Purdue over like they have with these other teams, that's where I could see IU kind of covering their spread per se. So
I was thinking about that. I was surprised. I guess I just looked it up. Purdue has only turned the ball over, I guess, 7 times. That doesn't seem like a whole lot. They've only thrown 4 picks, between 2 with Plummer, 2 with O'Connell, and they have 3 fumble losts. I don't remember. I know Horvath probably has, I think, 1. And
I don't remember the fumbles. I feel like some of them were probably like O'Connell or something.
They were early.
Horvath had one at Illinois where his knee was completely down.
Oh, that's right.
But kind of going with that, Cam, I don't see. You said Tuttle manages the game. Adrian Martinez hasn't had a whole lot of success passing the ball until last week against Purdue.
Great
point.
One of my concerns is, like on paper, Bell and Moore are awesome. They've won 1 game ever where they've been on the field at the same time. That was Vanderbilt last year. They lost to Nevada. They lost to TCU last year. They lost to Minnesota, but Rondell was taken out in the first or second quarter. Then this year they're 0-3 on the same field. I know it's not their fault.
What should be 1 and 2? We'll correct.
Should be at least, but
the Minnesota game.
It's kind of puzzling. It's like you got these two of the better wide receivers, not only in the Big Ten but in the country, and you're not getting wins with them on the field. But I think Purdue's got to run the ball. I mean, last year they had a lot of success on the ground with Horvath against Indiana, but this Indiana's defense,
Horvath ran all over him.
But Indiana's defense is a lot better this year. But it is interesting because Xander was originally a Indiana commit as a walk-on to play linebacker, then changed his mind and went Purdue to play running back. So he's got a little – I don't know if it's like wants vengeance or what it is, but hopefully Purdue can use that to their advantage. But I think Purdue has to force turnovers. Like you were saying, force turnovers. I think Purdue has forced turnovers against Indiana, especially early, try to get some of that momentum and see if they can hang on. But – Purdue hadn't forced a turnover in 14 quarters, Evan?
I was going to say, Tanner even talking about Purdue's got to force turnovers, and Purdue's forced 1 turnover in the last 4 games.
It's going to have to be like a ricochet ball or something because they're not going to get the Tuttle. We know that, us 3. They can't rush the passer, especially without George Karlaftis. They just haven't been able to get home.
And then I guess Sullivan got hurt. I don't know if he came back. I just remember seeing him I just remember him getting carried off, and then I don't remember because I didn't.
But so I don't know.
My worry is going back to Indiana's defenses. I mean, they attack. They do a really good job of getting to the quarterback, and that's what worries me. Is just with Purdue's young offensive line, just not having any time to let Moore or Bell make a play. So I feel like it's going to be just a lot of just dump offs and screens and just not fun football to watch.
I'm very torn on what I want Braun to do. I want him to go like.
I just want to just throw everything and just see what sticks.
I'm torn on him to go like going guns blazing. We're just gonna chuck it deep, or we're gonna throw the ball like 6 times and run and just do something totally different.
Or we're gonna put Austin Burton in who hadn't taken the snap, and we're just gonna do a run pack.
A bunch of options. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like just throw the ball like 5 times. We're gonna go run the option. I don't know. Do something totally
Listening to his press conference today, it wouldn't shock me if they played 2 quarterbacks on Saturday, Jack Plummer and Austin Burton, even though he hadn't played this year. It wouldn't shock me.
I've honestly been surprised they haven't all year since Braun for 3 years has played 2 quarterbacks.
And he recruited Austin to transfer from UCLA.
Yeah. I thought for sure we're going to see Burton like before the set. Like I thought we were going to see him start the second quarter on this last.
He took
Saturday.
Snaps on the sidelines and they never brought him in. So it's going to be an interesting one, Cam. I know you're looking forward to a lot more than us 3, but it's a rivalry game. Sometimes you throw the records out and see what happens. So, but you want to hang on?
Yeah, you never know. Sorry, say that again.
No, go ahead.
No, I just agree. I think it's going to be a good game. I don't see how you just blowing them out. Like I just don't see it happening. It's a bucket game. Purdue like IU is so much more talented than Purdue or anything like that. It's a better football team, but I just don't see a blowout happening. I see it being 2 scores at the max for IU winning. I don't see it going past that, to be honest with you. So I think it's going to be a good game. I really do.
I hope it's a good game. I hope it's not a blowout. So, Cam, you want to hang on with us for a couple more minutes and pick some games?
Sure.
All right, let's go around the other Big Ten games. The game, as it's titled, Michigan at Ohio State.
Not very much of a game this week.
I got this line at 29.
That's what I got. I think Ohio State covers.
I don't think this game is played.
I think it does.
I know Michigan practiced today, but I don't think it played. But Ohio State covers.
I don't think Michigan's going to play this game. I just see it happening. Ohio State covers easy if they do, but I'm agreeing with Andrew. I don't see it happening.
I think they play, but Ohio State only wins by 27, so Michigan covers.
God.
Late touchdown. Screws everything up for the lines. This is a fun one between 2 great, fun, cheery coaches. Minnesota and Nebraska.
Oh, my gosh.
Nebraska is favored by 10.5.
Yep.
Minnesota doesn't have a lot of their guys anymore.
That's shocking.
Yeah. I think Nebraska wins this game. I hate it, but I think they win. I think they're better than Minnesota right now. Minnesota haven't played in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think Nebraska wins. I think they cover. They're excited to give Frost like a 10-year extension because I think he's doing so well.
Please do.
I will never pick a Scott Frost-led team. I'm going Minnesota.
I'm with you, Cam.
What's the saying? The poop.
Oh, the boat.
What is it?
Ski-U.
The other one? What's the poop one?
Or ski-U.
Yeah,
or
that's what.
The dude rattles off like 15 phrases every time he's on TV. So
row the boat. Row the boat in the poop. Minnesota by 3.
God. Can they tie like 0-0?
Cam, I noticed you're wearing a hoodie. Is that one reason why you wouldn't pick Scott Frost? Because he wouldn't put Rich on the team.
You know, he wore a hoodie during the Purdue game. I was like, he's not tough enough to be on his own team. Like, what's going on here?
The battle for the land of Lincoln here. Illinois at Northwestern. Northwestern, I got it as a 14-point favorite.
Yeah, Northwestern 14.5. I think they cover.
Agreed, they cover.
I don't know does Illinois get guys back?
I agree.
They're loaded now.
Yeah, they had their starter quarterback or second string.
Peters has been back for quite a few weeks now.
That's right.
I think Northwestern gets it done, though, and got in not an argument, but just a discussion earlier with one of our good friends who says he's not normally a football fan.
Yeah, I was going to say.
He said Lovey's gone, and I don't know. I think Lovey gets another year, but that's just me. But he said he's gone, so we will see.
Is Lovey in year 4?
5, isn't it?
5.
I think it's 5.
Yeah, he started in 2016. But I don't know.
They were depleted by COVID at the start of the year, weren't they?
Yeah, absolutely.
Weren't they on their 4th string quarterback for
got beat up with their 4th string guy. Fun times. Rutgers at Maryland. I don't have a line on my app.
Maryland by 8.
Yeah, mine did. Yeah.
I'm picking Rutgers. I don't know why.
Yeah, I'm picking Rutgers too.
Yeah.
I just
Shiano.
I don't believe in Maryland.
I don't know if I've seen like a single
agree.
snap
I'm
of
taking
Maryland.
I know it's against IU. Andrew Talia Tua's brother was not very good.
That's what
like completely a one read guy is what I kept hearing about and reading about. So if his first read wasn't open, he was toast. Like that's what I said. I said they feasted on disguising coverages, and he was good. So I'm taking Rutgers too. Shiano's got them going in the right direction.
It's going to be scary. He's recruiting well too.
The turnaround is unbelievable in 1 year.
Yeah.
What he's done in 1 year, it's unbelievable. So,
they're going to be a
which
pain.
sucks for. Yeah.
Michigan State at Penn State. I got Penn State as 15-point favorites.
Same. God.
I think Penn State gets it done and gets it done easily. They're playing better.
I don't think they cover.
No?
I don't think Michigan State scores again.
How did they beat Northwestern? Like how? I watched them play against Ohio State, and I know Ohio State was out for blood and wanted to make a point, but Ohio State did whatever they want. Some of their wide receivers were as open as I've ever seen D1 guys open. And I'm like, how did this team beat Northwestern last week? It just doesn't. That's 2020 Big Ten football. It doesn't make sense.
I remember I read the bottom line of the first half. I think it was first half, and Rocky Lombardi was 4 of 13 for like 110 yards, 2 touchdowns. I'm like, he's thrown 4 completions for 2. I'm like, what in the world is going on? Like, they're weird. I take Penn State. I probably have them cover. I'll probably have them cover.
Yeah. Then this one should be a good one. Number 16, Wisconsin, at number 19, Iowa. Got Iowa as a 1.5-point favorite.
It'll be interesting to see how Wisconsin responds. I mean, neither team has anything to play for except just pride and.
Iowa's hot, man. 5 in a row.
Oh no, I was yeah. Cam, what do you think of Graham Mertz?
I thought he was all right. I think you can tell he was kind of young and bothered. I thought Northwestern and IU best defenses he's played, and he kind of struggled against both of them. But I think he's got some potential. I thought he made some good throws. I think he's all right. I think he could be pretty good if he develops a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Not the chosen one after that first game. I don't even know who that was 2 months ago. Yeah, when he threw like 5, when it was like 21 for 22 in the first half.
Big Ten game on that Friday night, week 1.
Yeah.
Then COVID hit them really hard.
Yeah. Yep. I think Iowa wins by a touchdown.
I like that. I like Iowa in the close one.
I like Iowa as well.
I like Iowa too.
We'll save the bucket pick for last. We'll go through some top 25s real quick, and then we'll let you go, Cam. Number 11, Oklahoma, 13.5-point favorites over in Morgantown against 5-4 West Virginia.
Oklahoma covers. They're 13.5-point favorites.
Yeah.
I agree.
Spencer Rattler's been playing really well.
Yeah.
He got better as the season went on. This matchup's interesting. I don't have a line for it on my app for some reason, but looking at it right away, I was going to say Georgia, no doubt. You know, they're number 8 in the nation, 6-2. Then I looked at Missouri. I'm like, Missouri's 5-3. And I remember before the season, I looked at Missouri's schedule. I said they might win a game. I thought they had the toughest schedule in the country, and they're 5-3.
Yeah, the line is Georgia 13.5.
And Georgia struggles at times scoring points this year. But I think Georgia wins right around 13 points. But
Yeah.
Missouri's a lot better than I thought they were going to be this year.
Is the SEC championship set? I mean, I know it's going to be Alabama on one side, but I don't know
Florida.
if the other. Oh, Florida. Okay. Duh.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if.
I believe it's already said. If not, Florida's going to be
Yeah.
down LSU
Yeah.
this week, so it's not going to matter.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at Missouri's schedule and like how their defense has given up like 30 points a game, yet they they beat Vanderbilt 41-0.
That's why they're looking for a new coach. Derek Mason's a goner.
Oh, yeah.
Like literally though, before the year, I looked at Missouri's schedule. Like they might win one game. I think they look like Murder's Row, and they're 5-3. So kudos to them.
I think Georgia covers. I think just my looking at the box scores, their defense looks bad. That's about all I'm going to say.
Fair enough.
Hasn't Georgia's kind of struggled?
Yeah, they've been struggling to put up some points.
Isn't their offense kind of? I know they got JT Daniels at quarterback now, and they said that's helped, but I don't.
Well, you remember they were supposed to have that kid that transferred,
Georgia, but I don't think they covered.
They're supposed to have that quarterback to transfer from Wake Forest, then he opted out like a week before the season started. Kind of hurt them. Here's a good one. Number 17, North Carolina, at number 10, Miami, Florida. Miami's 3.5-point favorites. I'll take the Tar Heels. I don't like Miami.
Going to you.
I'm going with the upset.
Josh's Canes.
North Carolina.
That's why I don't like Miami for that reason.
I'm going to take the U as well. I think the U wins.
2-2 split there. Washington at Oregon.
I've got Oregon as a 6-point favorite. Like I said, I know absolutely nothing about either team. So
I watched Washington a little bit. I like them, so I'm thinking Washington.
Well, I'm going to go with Oregon just for that.
I say Oregon just lost, didn't they? Yeah, they've lost 2 in a row. 2 close ones.
Right games.
I'm going to go Oregon.
There we go.
I'm going to go Washington.
Another split.
Good mid-major. Is that what you call them in football? Non-power 5, I guess.
Yeah,
non-power 5 is a better term. Number 7, Cincinnati, at number 24, Tulsa. Cincinnati's a 12-point favorite.
I think
Cincinnati. Hope Tulsa wins for a little bit. I know I'm fanboying now. I cheer for Tulsa. So, yeah.
I think Cincinnati blows them out.
Yeah, I think Cincinnati rolls.
Cincinnati needs to roll if they
want. That's what I mean. I think
screw you guys.
I think they're gonna.
I think Cincinnati wins, but I think it's close. I think it's
close. I think they're rolling.
Tulsa 7-1 or 6-1. Couple more here. Number 20, USC at UCLA. I think Clay Helton's starting to save his job here. I think he's safe.
Only
USC, by 3.
USC seems like the best team in the Pac-12.
Yeah.
I agree. I'm going USC.
Yep.
Give me UCLA. It'd be different.
How about San Diego State at number 13, BYU? BYU's a 14.5-point favorite coming off their first loss of the season to Coastal Carolina.
By like a yard.
Yeah. Coastal's so dirty, man. That was so at the end of the first half. They tried to kill Zach Wilson.
Yeah, that was bad.
I mean, they really could have hurt that guy. That was terrible.
That was really bad.
I think BYU covers.
Yeah, BYU big.
I think they roll.
I do too.
Last game, I want to see if you think these guys will cover. LSU at number 6, Florida. I got Florida as 23.5-point favorites.
I think so.
I didn't even see that.
Florida's offense is really good. I think they cover.
I did too. LSU was awful. I mean, they lost a ton last year from that amazing team, but I was thinking back, the only other defending national champion I can remember struggling, and I don't know if it was this bad, was the year after Auburn won with Cam. Gene Chizik struggled pretty bad. And if I'm not mistaken, he was fired either after that year or the following year after that. But so I don't think Coach O's going to get fired, but it wouldn't shock me if his seat gets hot already down there.
I mean, they were
crazy.
also. I mean, they were decimated with guys going to the league. So
I know,
mean,
but man,
I don't even know what the recruiting class is for this year. I'm sure it's at the top.
Before he took off a year or two ago, he was kind of on the hot seat down there already. So they don't have patience in SEC country, especially for some of those programs. But he should have bought himself a few years with that national championship. But we'll see. So, and lastly, the battle for the Old Oaken Bucket, 3:30 Big Ten Network on Saturday.
IU by 2 touchdowns, as much as that pains me to say.
Attaboy, Andrew.
I'm contractually obligated.
You shut up, Cameron.
So I think Purdue wins on a last-minute safety. Some stupid thing. I have no idea.
Purdue's going to win 2-0 when the IU's punter, they snap the ball over his head out the back of the end zone.
Yeah, Purdue gets a safety to start the game, and then all of a sudden news breaks that both teams are just rampant with COVID, and they said just call it. That's it.
Stop the count. I had to. It was perfect. I couldn't pass that up. But one thing I will say, Purdue hadn't got blown out all year. They actually every game they've been in, win or lose, was decided by 7 points until this week, and it was 10. I think Purdue keeps it close. I hate that I'm doing this, but I'm picking IU to retain the bucket by 8 points.
I have zero faith.
I feel very dirty.
I have zero faith, but I still pick Purdue because I can't do it.
Yeah, Evan needs to be the host of this podcast.
Yeah,
now.
Evan's the true
I'm demoted. I'm demoting myself. Promoting Evan. Evan getting a raise. Cam, final prediction.
I'm gonna take. Yeah, I'm gonna take IU. I just think they're the better football team this year. I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna go 28-17 is my final. I think it's close though. I think IU gets like a late touchdown to pull ahead.
It should be an interesting one, that is for sure. Just as the Big Ten football season has been in 2020 up to now. Any thoughts on Indiana basketball before we leave or before we let you go?
All right, I'm gonna tell everybody. Don't fall into the Archie trap. Don't fall into it. Okay, it's easy to fall into. Don't fall. Yeah, Dockage. Don't fall. A lot of Mark Titus is another one. Don't fall into it. Don't fall. Don't fall for it. It's my only thought.
Big game for him against Florida State.
I wanted to say this. Can I say one more?
Absolutely.
Can I say one more thing?
Sure.
Florida State wins. But can I say one other thing? One other thing. Okay. I wanted to say this. It's about IU football. It's not basketball because IU's a football school.
I like your basketball takes better.
I could actually join. I think I could join this podcast for basketball talk, man.
Anytime. You're welcome anytime.
Okay. I wanted to say it's about IU football. I thought this was a cool stat. So, they've broken a ton of records this year just because their history is so terrible. But so IU in their last 14 Big Ten games is 11-3 in their last 14 Big Ten games. That's their best stretch in Big Ten history for IU football.
Wow.
11-3 in 14 game stretch. So that blew me away. That was insane. I heard that stat today and I was just like, I wanted to share that. I thought that was awesome.
That's impressive.
So,
yeah, I wouldn't have guessed that.
Yeah. No. And so yeah.
Well, Cam, thanks for joining, 3 Purdue guys here to break down the bucket matchup for the Indiana side. We appreciate it. That's 2 years in a row now, so might as well book yourself for 2021 while we're at it. So
I love it. You guys are the best. Nobody does it better than you guys talking sports. So I appreciate you guys having me on. I was gonna be kind of dumb and say LEO like Tom Allen does, but I'll just say peace out. I'll just say see you later. And yeah. Fire Archie.
good way to go out there. We will not disagree with the Fire Archie comment. So
I will. I want to keep him.
That's a good point. That's what I said. I'm like, no, I want him to say. So all right, Cam. Thanks for joining the podcast,
Thanks,
and we'll talk to you later. All right, that was fun. Good friend of the show, Cameron Screeden.
Going back on what I said, going back to LSU recruiting, because that's what we do here on the Bullet Breakdown. They're 4th in the 2021 class.
They always are.
Yeah, it goes Alabama, Ohio State, Oregon, LSU.
Well, good for them.
Yeah.
We got a defensive back from their state. So
exactly. Yeah, after the debacle that was on Saturday, we had some good football news.
We did. We got two 3-star commits. So timing was odd, but
yeah.
They saw some quick time, quick
playing
playing
time
on
defense too. So they're both positions.
One's a 2022, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm kind of convinced a lot of these opt-outs aren't coming back next year. I just don't understand why you opt.
I don't know. So I was thinking about it.
3 games left. Why would you opt out with 3 games left?
I was thinking about it. What if they have COVID?
Yeah.
And they're just like, well, I'm out 3 games anyway. I can't practice. I'm just going to go home.
Well, that's a good point, but
yeah, I don't think I just blanked on his name. Running back from New York,
Tyreek Murphy.
Yeah, I think he's coming back. I don't think he's done. I mean, I think he's definitely in the doghouse after what happened at the beginning of the year. Yeah. But I think the only guy that we don't. I mean, obviously this could change, but I don't think DJ Johnson leaves. I mean, he just transferred. I don't see him transferring again.
He did not play well against Rutgers.
He was awful against Rutgers.
Yeah.
Did Howard play much against Nebraska?
He was out there, but he didn't do much.
Yeah, because I know he only played like 2 snaps.
I could see maybe Hewitt leaving just because the running back room. It's pretty much. I mean, what Horvath has done, it's definitely him and
Doru.
Yeah,
plus Murphy, depending on that, and then there's at least 1 running back in this year's class with.
I think
Cross.
Sparks is gone. Yeah, but
he's not coming back. Sparks isn't coming back.
Yeah, I don't blame him one bit for going.
Anderson's in the portal, and that makes sense too.
Yeah, I mean it's going to happen when you have a pretty loaded room like that. You know, I mean it's hey, it's whatever. Hopefully they find success elsewhere. I just hope they don't go to a Big Ten school.
I think you just got to keep the offensive linemen, because I mean we started the year with 10 that were playing, so keep all those guys around another year in the program. And kind of like what Cam said, I think is where he said the defense really took a step forward. They had some defensive linemen and linebackers. And that's where Purdue is. I mean, Purdue's got George, and then Neal's gone, I'm sure, right? Like Lorenzo Neal's going to be gone. Then there's like nothing left on the line. I mean, Watts has been okay at times. Dean's been okay at times. Lawrence Johnson's had moments. I mean, need somebody to take that big step and emerge.
I think the only senior, we had 14 guys go through senior day, including Rondell, I believe, maybe 15, including Rondell. 8 of them are on scholarship.
Is that weird?
No, I think Neal.
Just the fact that we've had other guys leave early before, but
I think Neal went through last year.
He did.
Yeah. But he was also.
Did Rondell go through last year?
No. Rondell wasn't even on the sideline last year at all.
Yeah. Neal was technically a senior last year, though. So that makes sense. But I don't know. I don't know if that's just a.
When was the last time a guy left early from Purdue?
I mean, we've had.
I can't name the
last one. It's been a while.
Yeah.
I can't name the last one.
Ray Edwards, Kelly Butler, Bernard Pollard.
But that was like a surprise. Didn't he kind of get that was because he and
Edwards were just locker room cases. They were not good for the team. Great talents.
Mm-hmm.
But,
they've had great NFL careers. Yeah.
But remember, Biggie, there was talk maybe Biggie doing something for senior day because everybody knew he was going to leave, but he didn't.
Yeah. Same with Carson that year too.
Well, Carson, I don't know if we were all so sure he was going to leave until the tournament, and then he went, he stamped it. He's in the league.
Yeah.
So But I think the only senior we might see come back is Jackson Anthrop. I think all the rest are gone.
Really?
I know Dellinger said he's not coming back.
Okay.
So I don't know.
Some of these guys, they may already have jobs lined up, like outside of football, so it could be.
Which is also unbelievably tough, though, right now to get a job.
Right, yeah.
The world is. So they like if they want to come back at all, it'll be interesting all across the board. But before we get into some hoops talk and wrap up this show, need to mention another sponsor of the Boiler Breakdown podcast. That is Webb's Family Pharmacy. Webb's Family Pharmacy is an independently owned community pharmacy with stores located in Rochester, Akron, and North Manchester, Indiana. Webb's is happy to announce that they are providing flu shots by appointment right in your car. Simply call to set up an appointment, and their friendly and caring staff will be happy to help you. For all of your high-quality medical equipment, supplies, and pharmacy services, check them out at www.webrx.com or give them a call. Webb's Family Pharmacy, the professional pharmacy with the hometown touch. Boiler owned and operated. I feel like we got quite a bit to talk about basketball, yet we don't have quite a bit to talk about. Like the game recaps, like Oakland, we shot the ball really well and won the game really easily. I don't really even remember what happened. It feels like forever ago.
Yeah.
And then Valpo was a grow-up game. What I mean by that is a game Purdue struggled a majority, got a hard-fought win. You burn the tape, like Evan says. You get rid of it. You never speak of it again. Nobody's ever going to even remember that game besides Purdue fans.
How are you guys – so it was weird for me at halftime. How were you guys feeling of that game?
I wasn't nervous at all.
Same. It was weird. It was real weird.
My dad freaking out the whole game. He's awful to watch. Dad, I know you're listening to this. You're awful to watch games with. Mom and I both agree. You are just not fun to watch games with. You get up and pace the whole time. And I kept saying, "I'm calm down. This is a season. We can't lose this game. If we lose this game, we're not going to make the tournament." I'm like, holy cow. Like, we're there already. Okay. Like, I get more nervous, and it's early in the season for basketball, and I've already accepted we're going to be up and down, and I just don't know. I get more nervous than football games right now than I do basketball games.
I get way more pissed at football games than I do basketball right now. I'm sure basketball will change
me too.
January, but that's just the expectation. Like you said, basketball, I'm not really expecting much this year.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously I want to do well, and I think I'm not expecting to be bottom half of the Big Ten by any means, but yeah, like I was just like, the water's going to find its level. We're going to hit some shots. So they're not going to make as many shots. The Valpo was not going to make as many shots as they were. I mean, we had half their team in foul trouble. But
it was just a polar opposite, and that's what I was kind of like. I guess I don't remember. I think I was more pissed than like worried. I was more of just like, how the heck are we down like 9 or something? Was it 11 or what was it at halftime? I don't even know.
It was 11 or 13, something like that.
11, 34-23.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's just I wasn't as worried because like last year it seemed like the offense just was terrible. I mean, like it just didn't flow. You could just tell that. But then you've got like the Oakland game where everything clicked, and you can kind of just see that this team's offense can just figure it out. Like you said, they're gonna make their shots. I mean, Edie had some good stretch in the second half that kind of sparked it. I mean, Mason Gillis, Sasha hit up some like 3 threes, big threes.
He shoots well at home.
Yeah, even without fans.
And that's the thing, and I don't want to use this as an excuse or a talking point that we can always bring up every game. But if that was a sold out Mackey, Valpo's not even in the game. No. They lay down quick.
Yeah,
but that's the thing. That's why that's why people are struggling.
Kentucky lost by double digits yesterday. Yeah,
Kentucky lost by double digits to Georgia Tech, who lost to Mercer, Gary Coach Mercer, who's they're 5-0. Good job to those guys, yes. But
that Friday night was almost a rough. Like Michigan State only won
Detroit
by like 7.
Mike Davis led Detroit.
And Wisconsin, did they lose that night?
They let Marquette
that night. And then there was
Virginia
somebody else
went into overtime with Kent State and won.
Well, I'm just in the Big Ten almost had a rough night because. And then I think like Maryland or Rutgers or somebody only won by.
Look back last week. Oakland took Michigan to overtime after getting waxed by Xavier a couple weeks before.
I mean, this is the year for those little schools. They don't get intimidated because there's nobody there.
Right.
They still get up because they're like, "Hey, we can still beat these guys and get our names."
Yeah, well, because they're not expected to win. It's like, we're Valpo and you're Purdue. Like,
and like Michigan State, Izzo, those guys are coming off a big win at Cameron Indoor. which is rare because nobody wins there. But this is a weird year without fans.
Yeah, they don't win that game if Cameron Crazies are there, I don't think.
Exactly. And then you got to play Detroit, and the players are probably like, we can go out there and just win, So
yeah,
this is the coaching. Coaching is all on the coaches this year. I mean, players too, but more so than ever coaches. So it's weird, but this Purdue team's they've been fun to watch so far. Got good news today. It looks like Eric Hunter Jr. is going to make a unbelievably quick recovery and make his season debut tomorrow, which is huge. I think that's a difference maker tomorrow night.
Yeah. I agree. I think he's going to be a little slow on offense. I know what you're saying, but I think defensively he's going to be kind of a tone setter and kind of that veteran that the young guards need to kind of. I mean, I don't know. And Newman's been a great effort, and I think he's going to get there, but he's not quite there yet. And I think Hunter's going to kind of take some off of him, and it's going to make Hunter or Newman step up a little bit just because he's not on the guy.
Yep.
I don't know, Tanner, you probably didn't see it. I know the Matt Painter radio show, I think it was like 6 to 7 or something. I think you were a little busy earlier.
We share that on our socials too, and I forgot today, so I apologize to everybody.
I read a little bit about it. I think it was pre-recorded before they left for Florida.
They were flying when it was actually airing.
Yeah, so I think they recorded it this morning. And I think Painter had said that Hunter was full go in practice either today or yesterday.
Great.
Before, so I mean, maybe he's back. I was kind of thinking he's kind of been kind of limited in practice, and he's going to give it a try tomorrow. But it sounds like he's pretty much full speed, which 4 weeks instead of 6 to 8 initially. So that's going to be big.
I feel like Painter wouldn't rush a guy back.
No, definitely. And
I wouldn't like to think anyway. And then hopefully, fingers crossed, Jaden Ivey returns soon. Next week could be great.
But
the schedule really ramps up starting next week.
Sounds
Not
like Ohio
State.
State.
Easy, but
no. Sounds like Ohio State is what they're targeting for Ivy. Yeah. Maybe that's been speculated.
I think Miami down a guy or two as well.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So that is what I think that was at the Painter show as well. The guard, he's like 5'6" or something, but he's shooting.
Very well coached though. Larry Nagel is a good coach, so he'll have them ready to go. Then Saturday, it's a big. Pretty much boiler day on the Big Ten Network. You got the Bug game at 3:30, then the Sycamore is coming into West Lafayette at 7:30, which they always scare me playing them. I don't know why. I know nothing about them this year, but they scare me more than the Valpos or the Evansvilles or even Ball State. Something about Indiana State always scares me. I don't know why.
Is it true?
Sorry, go ahead, Andrew.
Go ahead. I just pulled up that game. Has Indiana State not played there? It says they're 0-0. They not played a game yet?
Maybe not. Yeah. I know nothing about them.
I assume I haven't looked at the roster, but somebody's still on the team. Indiana State has Jake LaRavia, who's from Indianapolis, who was a Purdue recruit for a while. I don't think we ever really truly offered him.
Yeah, he would have came if we offered him, I believe.
Yeah. So I mean, he may have something to prove. I mean,
those kids usually do.
I mean, same with the Valpos. Those kids they're always in the shadow of Purdue, IU, Notre Dame all the time, and you get a chance to come into opposing teams' home court, especially when there's no fans, and make a name for yourself.
Yep.
I mean, what was the last? They kept saying during the game, and it was really pissing me off. The last time Purdue lost to Missouri Valley, because Valpo's Missouri Valley, right? Yeah.
Horizon League, I think.
Horizon, yeah.
Yeah, they're Horizon League.
I think they had like MVC on the TV, so I wasn't sure.
Oh, maybe
they might have left. No, they left the Horizon League.
Yep. You're right, Evan. Yep. Okay. They just joined the Missouri Valley a couple years ago.
Last time we lost to Missouri Valley team at home was Indiana State when Larry Bird played.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I didn't catch that on the broadcast.
Really, I was going to say, I thought 400 times because they kept talking about how the one kid for Valpo who was the big guy who was knocking down threes, they kept calling him like Larry Bird 2.0, and I was like, shut up.
God. I didn't pay attention to that. I know we've lost to Evansville in Painter's first year. We went to Evansville.
Yeah.
And we think
that was the last Missouri Valley team we lost to at home was Indiana State.
We don't play very many of them.
Yeah, led by Larry Bird.
So, but Matt Painter's really rolling with the recruits.
Yes, he is. I did not expect this at all. I mean, that was the kind of what we're talking about is we landed 2022 guard Jameel Brown from North Philly earlier this evening. Definitely seemed like a guy that Painter has been in on from the beginning. You guys really prioritize a kid who didn't play much of his sophomore year. It seems like because of a wrist injury. So he's again we're not really big on rankings, but he's ranked about, I think he's 105, 104 on Rivals.
I think it seems like Matt Painter's been really involved in like USA basketball, like the U18, and it seems like a lot of the guys that have committed recently have all gone through that. Or I don't know if they've been selected or really how that works.
Guys, I mean, you got Morton and Brown both from Pennsylvania, opposite sides of the state. But it was weird because I remember, as stressful as it was, which is kind of dumb to say, but the whole Trey Kaufman recruiting journey, I guess, it was fun because it was, every day there was something was popping up somewhere, and then when it was over, I was like, well, now what? And then we're going to be sitting here for a while, but then all of a sudden we've got 2 recruits in a matter of a couple weeks of each other. I think the guys, Foreman tweeted that every time they've gotten on a plane this year, they've gotten a commit. So
good news, yeah.
Yes, next commit's coming
December 21st.
Yeah. So
was that Iowa?
I have no idea.
I got rid of that. I got rid of the schedule.
But I mean, these are definitely guys with Brown and Lawyer. It's definitely guys that Painter, I think, he's their top target in those positions.
Yes, Iowa, you're right, Tim.
And he's getting
early and locked them in early. I mean, these are 2022. Yeah. They haven't even started their season yet.
Or just started. Like I know Lawyer was playing.
Oh yeah, that's true. They played a couple games.
He played at Brownsburg against Cathedral, a good Cathedral team, and that Homestead team's gonna be good with him and Luke Goody, who's going to Illinois next year. They're gonna be able to shoot really well. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy that I don't know if it's just kids are worried with how scholarships are going to be weird the next couple of years just because of COVID and the potential one-year transfer rules. They're just trying to lock their spots in and get them in. Get these coaches to commit to them as well. It's going to be really interesting, but I will take it. And as of right now, we've got 2 more spots to fill.
I think it all goes back to the late 8 run. Carson made Purdue look cool, and it's still paying off.
And they talk about Micah Shrewsbury being back on staff too, coming back from the NBA, so that gives some more credit, some kind of street credit to Purdue about everybody wants to go to the NBA. I mean, almost every single Division I big time player that's their dream is to go to the NBA. So you've got a guy who's been on staff.
Especially, with a guy Shrewsbury who's coached Jason Tatum, who's a young up and coming star. I'm sure a lot of these kids, especially guards, might look up to. And that can be huge. I mean, again, he's coached for the Boston Celtics, one of the most prestigious pro sports teams ever, and they've had some decent success. So that's definitely helped a ton.
Do you guys? This is kind of my closing thought here, but do you guys think the reason we all get more mad right now at football than basketball is because basketball is getting these recruits? While this year might be kind of a growing pain season because they're young, we see a really bright future, and there's just so many more question marks with the future of football right now.
I think that's part of it. I think part of it is it's almost not fair because we've had Painter for so long. I think we kind of know that. Okay, he's at least proven that when he's screwed up or he's had a hiccup that he will fix it and correct it. Whereas with Brom, we don't really know. And also we were spoiled with Brom the first year. Really 2 years, I guess, of just having that instant success. Like, okay, well, you got us 6-7 wins. Now it's time to get us 8-9 wins, to get us 10 wins. And then I think that really kind of, I don't know. I think the trajectory was always there to have a letdown of some sort, especially with all these young guys, and then hopefully build up on that, especially given what he had to take over and kind of get rid of the guys who he didn't want and implement his own guys. But I think part of it is just we've had that instant success, and now it's okay. We gave you the money, we gave you this investment. Now, show me something. So I think that's part of it too.
Yeah, that could be because like you said, Painter's gone. He's been mostly up, but he did have some downs. But I think it's such a different rebuilding a basketball program versus rebuilding a football. You get lucky on one guy in basketball recruiting, like Carson Edwards. Totally changes the team. Totally changes the team. I was thinking even not like Swanigan was McDonald's All-American, but Carson Edwards was a kind of lightly recruited guard that blew
Yeah.
up. Like, it's totally changed the team like that. Like a freshman can come in on a basketball team, changes the game.
Like the baby Boilers. I mean, that
Absolutely.
yeah.
Totally changes the program versus football. You got to do it for like 3 or 4 years in a row and get lucky on 5, 6, 7, 8 guys a year. Like get the right guys, get the good guys,
especially on the line.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at like Rondale Moore. We had that year where we had Rondale Moore for football and Carson Edwards for basketball, probably the two most exciting players in their sports respectively. But the nice thing about with Rondale's, we actually had we had a good team around him in the defense, so that because if we had this defense with a freshman around him, I don't think we see the same
good point
success. Or even if it's the same quarterback, I think if you put Rondale as a freshman on this team, I think we see. The things that we saw when he had, a veteran David Blau or Sindelar throwing to him.
Good point.
That's also, I think, why it's partly frustrating. Like, I guess we kind of knew there, like you said, there would be growing pains going to be in the cupboard. Was pretty bare, and I kind of wonder if that first, like Brom's first recruiting class, he was just grabbing guys, is like trying to get as much talent as he could. And I mean, like Painter's talked about it too. I mean, where Painter went through those lulls, like around like 2012 or something.
Grabbing the best ranked guys he could.
Yeah, and may not have fit the system or may not have been like the type of players that he typically wants, but it was a good player.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe Brom kind of did that at first because he knew, like, man, I just need talent.
Just an injection of talent.
But it also kind of feels like we've kind of wasted some of that Rondale Moore hype. Sure. I mean, he's got 1 game left, 2 games left maybe.
I don't think he plays the last game. I think this is
I agree. And he gave Purdue a lot of publicity a couple years ago, but then last year was kind of a wash, and this year's a wash, and it's kind of like, I don't know.
I'm probably gonna hate saying this, 'cause I probably regret it, but it's almost like I feel like his legacy is tarnished a little bit just because we haven't done anything with him this year. Especially, it's like the whole idea is we just want to see him and David Bell on the field at the same time, and it's like. Now that I've seen it,
I haven't produced anything.
Yeah, I haven't produced anything. It's like, man, I almost just rather.
I mean, they've been good. I mean, like we just said,
they've been good, but the team hasn't produced wins. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely not seeing the offense that we thought we would have. Rondale running all over the field, and then when the defense keys in on him, David Bell's wide open over the middle for a long touchdown, like we saw. It's just like, man, I'd almost just rather just live with the the previous the first 16 games we had of Rondale, because I feel like this season just left such a bitter taste in my mouth where it's just I'm just ready to be done with it.
That's why I'm hoping he can go out guns blazing Saturday.
Yeah.
Tear it up.
Yeah.
And because I was telling somebody today at work, Jeff Brom was so popular 2 years ago in West Lafayette, he could have ran for mayor and won easily.
Oh yeah.
If he runs for mayor right now, I don't know if he wins. That's how much the fan base has flipped.
Yeah, which is unfortunate, because I'm definitely not as much as I've criticized them, in our group chats or, just, to people I talk with, I don't think he needs to be fired by any means. I think he still needs a couple more years just to prove what he can do with his guys and truly implement a system. Maybe it is keeping, guys around like Biaggi and Diaco around a year or two just to, like we mentioned, we had Cam on. We've had 8 defensive coordinators in 13 years. Like, you can't build a system that way. And I know it is college football, and especially nowadays, it's always just a revolving door of assistants. But there's ways you can do it, and I feel like just a revolving door of defensive coordinators isn't gonna fix it anytime soon.
Yeah, I know, and that's why I'm kind of like, I as much as I'm not sold on the Diaco system, he's got to get a couple more years to kind of implement it. Yeah. I mean, I guess to be fair, like the whole thing is not giving up big plays, and I can't really remember like
Rutgers,
like an 89-yard touchdown.
Oh, not that big a play.
Yeah, and even Rutgers was just a terrible, like it was just a blown
coverage.
Yeah.
It's okay. 1 in 7 games is going to happen.
He's done a good job with the bend and don't break defense, really, and really statistic wise. If you look at Purdue's defense, they rank about 7th in the Big Ten, surprisingly. They're not like towards the bottom half, which I thought they're going to be. They're like dead half, which just seems like they'd be dead last, but it's not the case. So I think he gets another year, but I could be wrong.
I don't think he's going anywhere. I think this year, just because of new system.
Kind of a wash.
I think unless Diaco and Brom are just like totally on a different page, like personally, and that's like, nope, this isn't working out, then.
If that's the case, he better get the next one right.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't keep revolving door like we've talked about 8 coordinators with 13 years. That's not going to get it done.
kind of like what Cam was talking about at IU, where they've kind of hired within. Do you think?
Yep.
I mean, Poindexter was a candidate. He was a defensive coordinator at UConn before he came to Purdue.
Yep, with Diaco.
Right? Yeah, with Diaco. But I mean, he's defensive coordinator. He's experienced. I mean, he's been there the whole time. Brom has.
Yeah.
Good point. Well, before we wrap this up, we got one more sponsor that we'd like to talk about on the Boiler Breakdown podcast, and that is Schroff Landscaping Nurseries. Schroff Landscaping Nurseries has been in business for over 50 years and can handle all of your landscaping needs, including landscape design, maintenance, irrigation, hardscaping, fall cleanup, and they are licensed lawn applicators. Contact them today for all of your landscaping needs at 574-223-2769. Schroff Landscaping, design with you in mind. And you can also contact them. Don't have their logo up, so never mind. And we got one person watching, so I'm not gonna bring it up. My computer's giving me enough problems tonight. So let's wrap this thing up. I've already had you guys on here for 90 minutes. I feel bad. So closing thoughts.
Man, I go back and forth. I know I've been really down on this team, football speaking. I keep having a glimmer of hope that something just clicks on Saturday. I know it's me. Me thinking that's just going to make it hurt even more when it doesn't happen. But I just keep thinking how hilarious that would be. Because I guess I thought the same thing last year. I thought they were going to come in and just wipe the floor with us, and we damn near beat them.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
it's 2020. Crazy things have happened. I mean, I did this is my second podcast tonight, and I picked Indiana both times, but it's the first time all year on either podcast I've picked against Purdue. Picking Purdue hadn't been working for me. Maybe picking against them is going to work for me. Well, reverse psychology. So
I mean, if the weather's nice, and I mean,
I don't know what to mean nice. To be warm.
No, just not crappy. Not crappy. Not nice for December in Indiana.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? I mean, that's why you play the game. Hopefully, the team is. Brom says he likes the fight that the team has and hasn't given up, which I hope that's true. I think otherwise, but you just hope that
could be coach speak. I don't know. It could be him.
Yeah.
We really could have team Saturday down 17 and just gave up. Yeah. They did fight back and get it within a touchdown, but
you hope guys like Lorenzo Neal, guys who are probably this is their last game, who've been had the bucket and lost it.
Back.
Yeah, I mean, have some sense of pride, and just hope guys like maybe Anthrop, guys who are from the state, can get these guys, maybe some of the younger guys up for it. I mean, I like to see kind of what Andrew you said already. I just want to see something different, and I hope. I mean, I saw people on Twitter saying, "Why not just all out blitz every single play?" It's like you really can't do worse than what we've done already.
That didn't work out. That didn't work out for the Jets.
That did not. No. But I mean, I just want it to be a fun game. That's all I really care about at this point. But beat them.
It's going to be interesting. That's for sure. But with that said, let's boiler up, hammer down, beat the Hurricanes, the Hoosiers, and the Sycamores.
Yes, sir.